Hi Vijay, welcome. Thank you for taking out the time and joining us. Congrats on your selection to IIM Bangalore, Vijay.
Hi Ajay, thank you so much. Firstly, thanks to you for giving me this opportunity to come out and share my experience.
Thank you, Vijay, for coming for doing this interview. So Vijay, how did you feel after actually getting into IIM Bangalore? Because you already given CAT once before, but then this was your first serious CAT attempt, and then you made it in the first attempt, we can say. So how was the feeling after getting the results?
I was very numb on that day, to be honest. For a couple of days, I was very numb. But the most happy part was my friends celebrating the achievement. They were super proud of me. So that was really interesting part for me, more than my selection. So it is more of their victory for me to say.
Nice, nice. Vijay, take us through your schooling. Where have you born and brought up, and then your undergrad days at NIT Warangal. Just take us through the journey.
Yes, so I'm actually from Hyderabad. So my all my schooling till my plus two has been in Hyderabad itself. So my 10th standard I have done from Sri Krishnaveni Talent School. There's one in Dilshanagar Nagar in Hyderabad, and right next to it I didn't go very far. So right next to my school I had my college as well, Sri Chaitanya. So that was my schooling. I had decent percentages like every other AP Telangana student with 95 plus scores in both. Then I got into NIT Warangal. I pursued mechanical engineering over there. My time out there, it actually transformed me. If I could uh, describe me in a word in my first year, I would say an introvert. And right at the end of fourth year, I was an extrovert. I have become, I can say, people leader at least through the managerial activities I have taken up. From I was always a people follower till my third year. I never knew. I was just I had a simple rule of to bend your head and do the work. So then unknowingly I developed some skills in me. I honed my skills through knowing the right set of things to do. Only when you know the things, when you do it, you know what things to be done when you are a manager. So in my final year, my senior said you should do something of a managerial role. Then I took up a position. So I was the coordinator for my cultural fest. I was leading 14 teams with 500 odd people. So that was one my first huge managerial role. Then at the same hand, the college gave me an opportunity to start a social startup we had back then. We ran for 3.5 years. It's still running in my college. It's called One Stage. We help the differently abled. So these two managerial elements were places where I transformed myself. I learned how to become a people person to people leader. So that's where my first aspiration of being an MBA student also came from. So I had an instinct. I decided in my final year, okay, probably after my engineering, I will do an MBA. Firstly, I'll get into corporate and see if my abilities match the industry in the first place. So after 3 years, now I'm entering into my MBA phase.
Vijay, after your graduation from NIT Warangal, you got into Ford. So take us through that experience. How was it? Because you did your mechanical engineering and then got into a core company. So how was the experience over there?
Yes. So to get into core was one of the dream thing back in college. So we rigorously prepared and for one for in our seventh semester for all going through all the engineering subjects. So if there is someone who is checking as a fresher and getting into jobs and CAT preparation, I'll say focus on your placement. So it was really interesting. I mean the subjects and all. Good aptitude always helps. It is really important even at that point. So when I got through Ford, I was very happy. When I entered the company, the culture is very different. So my first blow in the face was the experience, because when I went in, I was calling everyone sir and madam. So my first rule on the first day from my manager was call me Vinod, or you should call me this. Call me by name. Don't address as sir or ma'am. So this is how the culture is. And over the months, the freedom I was given, you get the lot of freedom at that point, unlike any other company. So you will understand how the company works through. So that was one main key aspect. So what I learned was how different is corporate world from the actual engineering life. So there you will see the broadness of people, the maturity they given, and the communication pattern. So these were some very critical things. And at Ford, I was working as an material planning and logistics analyst. So my role was to do the validations for few launches. We work for particular companies. So countries, sorry. So I was working for South Africa for the first 1 year for a huge launch, wherein later built, I got interested into developing things. So I came up with few ideas. Then I turned into an RPA developer as an additional role. So I started coding in Excel, VBS, and all. So I had a lot of plethora of opportunities by my managers. So I was keen to try to find the patterns in things we do. Instead of just doing the things given to us, I used to do the extra job to find some shortcut or do something. So that's where I pulled in some ideas. So I had plenty of opportunities. So Ford was full of these things, learning how to be in a professional world, how to act as a corporate person, and other side, the opportunities they offer when you are keen to learn and do the job. So these were my two key takeaways at Ford.
So Vijay, you're already doing well at Ford, and then just at the end of your undergraduation from NIT Warangal, you're having this inclination towards MBA. So were you trying to incline towards like how do managerial concepts apply at the workplace? Were you thinking from that point of view while you were working at Ford?
Yes, this was one element which I always told in my. This was in my weakness bag for whenever I had this weakness question in my interview or why MBA. I used to explain this part. So when I was working as a coordinator in my final year, I had bunch of people, 500 odd people under me. So I was more of an result oriented person. It was more of get me the job done. So I was not into knowing every person to the core intent. I was knowing the top layer. I somehow I got into the bureaucratic mode where I was getting to know only the third year persons, a little of second, or maybe no one in first year. So I was supposed to know the whole tree which is under me. So that's where I learned. That was a bad trait from me. I was good in planning, execution, presentation, all things, but I was not a good people manager. So at Ford, we are very much valued employees. So you will see the intent from every manager. So what I learned that when I came into corporate was how you should treat your employees. There is an even bigger element, not just getting the job done. You have to keep your employee happy, and we have an continuous survey to keep the momentum going. So that's what I learned at Ford, how to think as a manager. So there were few things that I learned over the days at Ford, how to build a vision. Instead of just trying to solve a problem for now, solve it once so that it never comes back again instead of just fixing the issue. So that's the kind of vision I learned from my personally from my manager and general manager. And other one, how to engage with people, how to be a people leader. So at Ford, you don't just call people as managers, we will call them people leaders. So that is truly how the essence of manager should be. So this something I learned at Ford. I thought maybe an added MBA is much better thing. And in fact, Ford made me a much better managerial person than what I was at the end of my engineering.
Nice, Vijay. I mean, like very well explained using the Ford culture and how you were able to change yourself as a person because of the opportunity that Ford presented. So, Vijay, when did you seriously start thinking of giving CAT 2019, and how did that journey from there till the time you have given your CAT went?
Yes. So I decided it somewhere in my first week of June. So I told my friend who just got into my same college. Now she's my senior. So I told in her last days I'm planning to give CAT. So that's where I got couple of inputs from her. What to be done, what content I have to follow. So my friends have suggested that to keep the things simple, not to rush into kind of piling up all the content and all. So I kept it very simple. I took up a online course as well to keep my continuity because my job was taking up a lot of time. I was running 12 to 14 hours a day. So I needed something, to pull me to the reading table and get back to the solving problems. So I took up an online one. my journey was, I wouldn't say I was giving so much of time like many aspirants uh, give to. I was spending roughly 2 to 3 hours in the night. I used to give whatever time I was able to, and I used to do some short quizzes. Like I used to pick some random 5 questions and solve within 10 minutes or 15 minutes in my office when I am bored in any meeting. I pick a paper and I just do. So that's how the journey went for majority of the time. And weekend mornings were my getaway from the world. So early morning I wake up by 8:30 and I rush to the cat center. I wanted to go and give my mocks in the center itself so that I'll get the experience of sitting with the strangers and waiting for your lab to get ready. So I had that feel. I used to travel some 30 odd kilometers every morning on a weekend. So Saturday was for IMS mock and Sunday was for time mock. So that's where my weekends used to go off. When there is no proctored one, I used to sit and analyze. So my mock used to end by 1 or 2. I get back, watch a movie or catch up with friends, and at around 6, I start doing my practice again for 4 hours. So weekends were roughly for 7 to 8 hours of my preparation. This went on, but I was taking too much of load, not concentrating on health. This is something I wanted to tell every aspirant. Take care of your health. Don't make cat your everything. So this was one point where I didn't manage things well. I was ignoring my health. So things got a bit worse. I was not well from October. So my last 1 month was super dry. My prep was barely 1 hour in a week. So I was not well. I was falling sick every day, and I just gave cat. Cat wasn't my best effort because my mocks were way better. I had seen very good percentiles and scores in my mocks, but I couldn't do the same. I couldn't reflect the same in cat. So I was little demoralized. So that's where my cat was. But from June, things got normalized. I was somehow over the border where I was feeling I might get struck off, but I got calls. Then I became myself instead of being worked up about cat or getting into B school. So from Jan, I was myself, completely relaxed. No, I know what has to be done. I was a bit focused, and I didn't go for too much of PS as well. I had given only one mock personal interview in IMS center, one mock interview in from workshop, and that's it. All my other interviews were straight away. I went in, I just expressed who I was, and fortunately, I converted all the calls which I had. So this was in short my journey. Couple of hours every day, a bit more on weekend. Stay healthy and just be yourself and know things a little. Know have an idea about everything. So that's the key point for throughout my entire journey. If I had to put in a nutshell.
I think Vijay, you very humbly put it out, but then I mean, it doesn't. I mean, it's not actually that easy working 12, 14 hours in a job and then putting in those extra 2 hours. So people who are working, especially if you're finding that if you're having the luxury of having those extra hours, maybe if you're having only 9, 10 hours, and especially now due to the current situation, a lot of you might be working from home. So use this time to put in the hours, because if people like Vijay are putting those hours, there are a lot of people out there trying to do their best to get into the colleges of their choice. And also make sure you take care of your health, because unfortunately sometimes we don't know what is going to happen. And then Vijay, take us through your journey of WAT preparation. I understand that you did not, I mean, you were just being yourself, but then at least, I mean, you would have thought about certain questions. You must have introspected about your answers and all. So how did you go about your VAT and PI after your CAT results are out, and you know that you're definitely going to have some calls?
Yes. So when since I was not well, I was in my own quarantine till Feb in my home. So until I was not, since I did not have a chance to join any of the GDPI courses, all I used to do was I joined couple of student groups which were made on Pagal Guy on Facebook. So people used to have their own debates for GD. So people used to take up a topic and they used to discuss. So I used to try to participate, learn a bit about myself if the topics are known to me. If not, I used to read about them. So when I tried to prepare for what PI, so these were a couple of things I had. One was personality about me. When they ask what are your strengths or weakness, I walk through what I have done in my last 7 years from my graduation and four time. So what kind of person I am, so what strengths I carry. So that was something I always prepared. And weakness, I took up whatever performance reviews I had with my manager, what traits they have found in me, and what I personally introspect myself. So these were two things which were key for me. So normally I have this tendency to interact with people and try to understand my weaknesses. So almost everyone in my Ford L&D, all 20 HR people know me, and I have had a session with them to understand where I can improve more. So that's where I knew my strengths and weakness, and I always thought of what uniqueness I bring to the table. So instead of I used to go through what are normal Quora answers which are present for these, and I was little intimidated by the way those interviews were carried, because the level of questions which were happening at A, B, and C or any other IIM. So those were a little baffling for me. So then I felt I should know my industry more. So that was one thing. I learned more about my industry. I had an more interest in automobile industry from start. So I was in touch with the company, what is happening in it, and I try to assess what questions are possible at this point. So at Feb and March, it was more about trade war, and the other thing about in why automobile slowdown is happening. So I predicted what could be the questions which can revolve when someone looks at my profile. So that was something I used to do. So for VAT and PI, it was more about trying to read about each thing. So I followed. I didn't have any specific material as such. So I was keen on just reading, trying to understand. I wouldn't say I was really good in breaking everything out. I had a basic outline of what things are. If I pick a topic, I will be able to explain to someone. So I used to take up a topic with some of my teammates in office, and I used to try to explain them. If I'm able to explain them in simplest way, then I'm ready for that topic. So if it is in VAT or PI, I will be able to do it. So that's how I learn things. Try to have a simpler analogy to learn things. That is for VAT. In PI, know more about yourself. That was key for me. And knowing, if you're an experienced person, know your industry well, in and out, what is happening and what will happen. And that actually worked, because automobile slowdown question was one question which was common in all my 7 interviews. Not even one college has left it out.
Yeah. So Vijay, what kind of questions relating to your work experience was asked in your interview? Because it was obvious that these questions would definitely come up in your interview. And how did your actual experience help you out in answering these questions? Because you were actively involved in developing new models, in thinking new processes at while you were at Ford. So how did that help you in giving good answers or making sure that you're improving your chances of getting selected?
Right. So I will break my answering pattern into two first. So when I answer, I used to ensure I know the details of it. Technical details is one. Instead of just blurting out the facts out of it, I used to maintain a structure in my answer. So whenever someone asks me about any particular question as such, I will break them into modules for them. I'll say I can put it into three main pieces, and I will try to explain it. Either it is an engineering question or a managerial question or anything as such. So have a pattern, know the details. So two things that are key for it. So outliners were, when I came for my Bangalore interview, they were trying to understand how I look at things, and they try to understand what my job is. So they try to go through a bit in detail. They try to put me in situations where they said electric cars are coming up. So when your workload is getting reduced, so what's the point of your job? So in I said there is a good side. I will get more time. I can improve the quality of work, and the second element, I can bring in new ideas. So I was putting out in both aspects, one with my current scenario and one in the futuristic case. So I had to break it into two, and I explained both scenarios. So when we talk about work experience, it is the understanding of yours based in your industry. So when they ask anything about industry, you should be able to bifurcate it. So that is one element. Second one, your managerial observation of things. So when you observe, try to know your work better. So when someone asks about it, you will be able to put it in both brackets. good and the other way. And when it came to indoor and other colleges, they were trying to club it with my engineering experience. Since I was mechanical engineer and Ford was an automobile company, they were trying to question or in terms of automobile areas, so about engines, piston rods, about those details. Though I was not fully uh, able to recapture at that points, I was able to make an attempt. I was able to explain what my thought process is. So they judge you. What I understood from them is they judge your understanding of things rather than knowing the right answer or knowing the right facts. Even though you don't know, if you're trying to have a good understanding of what you learned, that will actually get you sailed through. So
Correct.
that was the main point for me through my interview.
Correct, Vijay. I think having a good understanding of the industry that you work in, and especially people with work experience, if you know that you're going to do an MBA, try to try to maximize your experience at your company. Try to understand things, how businesses work, because at the end of the day, if you're getting into an MBA, you should be able to have that inclination. Maybe you'll not be able to understand all the things, but trying to understand as much as you can will really help you out. And it's even going to help you out when you're actually getting into your MBA, because the kind of clients that you work for, the kind of work that your company does, this is all actual business. This is where the uh, practical application of the theory that you are going to face is actually before even you join an MBA. So try to understand from that angle, and it's really going to helpful in your interviews, and in the longer run, it will definitely help in the MBA. So Vijay, you are actually emphasizing the importance of, not emphasizing, you told how your friends celebrated your victory more than you, and especially during these tough journey, because there are going to be a lot of highs and lows, because the CAT itself is a somewhat long preparation. You give your mock, sometimes you get good scores, you get bad scores, and then you need certain kind of direction. Sometimes some objective view from your friends and suggestions from your seniors would definitely help. So what kind of support you had from your friends, your mentors or seniors?
Uh, for me, majorly, there is a friend of mine who is currently pursuing MBA in one of the top IIMs. So he was my very close friend. So he used to guide me on things. So I was little confused when I had seen too much of online content. When I used to scroll, there are thousands of pages and hundreds of Quora answers. So he put the rules simply for me. He said, practice, don't read anything on internet, stop going through loads of feed, it doesn't help you at all. So practice on what is important. And my friend's support was when actually mocks, when you take cat very seriously into yourself, you start affecting by your mocks, wherein you should actually get used to the different scenarios. Mocks are the best point where you get that sudden thrust on you where you didn't predict this particular kind of pattern. So that's where I learned from mocks. So initially I was taken by the mocks. I used to get high and low with the marks, and I used to self doubt if I am actually going to crack cat or not. But later, then it started to sink in that it keeps happening. The consistency will automatically come in when you are good with your preparation. That was key. And majorly my friends were supportive when I fell ill. So from complete December first week, right after my IAFT, I flew to my home, and from there I haven't stepped out of my house for 2.5 months closely. So during the time, my friends took out time. They used to call me every day. My friends are spread across the world. So one guy used to call on Sundays. He used to call from US. So they used to take time and try to keep me entertained, not get demoralized. I was completely down at that point. I was not sure if I will be able to crack any good school. So they were helping me through that. So later that point, when I was being myself, it was because of them. I learned, they put me the thing that this is your natural you, not the one who gets worked up and does things. So I like to keep things simple, try to keep calm and do whatever I can. Result might or may not come. So they told, you are a happy-go-lucky person, not the one who stresses about results. So that was main. They always try to get the better out of me. So had it if I didn't have them, probably I wouldn't be standing itself in this first place. Taken from my college time. These were friends I made in my college journey. So from there, whatever I learned managerially was primarily mostly because of them. So they used to have this feedback, so we are very transparent about the things we do, so that actually helped me to understand what I am and my flaws as well. We openly say out on people's face what flaw you have, so that is something we always work on.
Yeah, I mean that's something which we can actually share with our friends, obviously. And I mean, yeah, Vijay. I mean, Vijay emphasized the importance of having friends with whom you can share everything freely and not hiding anything. Because, and also with if you're having that kind of a support system, be it your friends or maybe your siblings, or maybe if your parents, sometimes depending on what kind of a rapport you share with them, just have this support system. Because when you're on this difficult journey, and if you're taking it too seriously, sometimes it affects your actual preparation. You get affected by other things. You lose your natural path, and that doesn't actually come out well, even if you're getting, I mean, even if you're successful or not. Because there are a lot of people where their health takes a toll, and then not just falling ill, but then their mental space gets a little bit disturbed because they're too much into the goal and not too much into the work that goes into getting the goal, I mean reaching the goal. So make sure you're having this kind of a support system where they'll be objectively able to tell you flat on your face that this is not the actual thing that you're doing. Just and also put you on that path. It's not that they're telling you that take things lightly. They're just making sure that you're comfortable, but at the end of the day, also working on the thing that you should be working on. So try to have this kind of a support system, especially when you're trying to do serious things. And Vijay was also working, so it would have been equally hard trying to balance both the things. So Vijay, I just wanted to go back to your college days and just looking back from this point, right, 2020, and you did your undergrad from 2013 to 2017, and especially in your final year, you were involved with a lot of activities. In retrospect, how do you feel that actually helped? Because a lot of us, we don't understand during it our undergrad days, because this point I think will be definitely helpful to people in their third year or fourth year who are having this inclination of going towards management studies. But some of them, they think that they should only be focusing on a few things. But all these things, like you told, the people management, these all play a lot of role, not just in helping out with their interviews and all with positions of responsibility. That's just like an add-on. But the actual difference is they'll help us understand what we are. Is this really the thing for me? Because at the end of the day, when you're an MBA, very fast in your career, you're going to lead teams. You'll have to interact with a lot of people. I think you had that kind of an opportunity even before entering your MBA at Ford at some level. So, I mean, take us through that. Take us through the importance of trying to get yourself involved in some good activities while you're still in your undergrad college.
Yes. So actually, I have even talked to a lot of people after my conversion. So in the flood of messages, I have spoke to a lot of freshers who are still in college as well. So when I ask many, they are maintaining very good CGPA. So they knew that admission criteria are based on CGPA. So everyone is having stellar ACATs. So stellar ACATs are very good. I totally agree. But they read one hype part about CAT, which I want to talk about before I step in the details. That people talk about person having stellar ACAT, so he got into a top B school. So it actually doesn't work that way. There are many very good in candidates with very good profiles. They still get rejected by the top colleges. Not everyone gets selected in that. That's because they need to have a difference. So people should try to emphasize the main part where interview plays an equally huge role. It is the it's the elephant in the room, not just the cat.
I think
So
CAT is only the entry point to your interview room, but then the actual difference maker is your WAT, your personal interview. It's just like almost combined weightage would be more than 60 percentage, I think,
yes,
for all the colleges. Please carry on with your points, Vijay.
there are many individuals don't just read through Quora answers. They are actually good. They are very good individuals who wrote their journals, but there are many who haven't rewritten their journals because they are not very vocal. But when it comes to the situation, they are they can be vocal. So they flex themselves. So to flex, you should actually practice. It doesn't just come into the room and you will be able to speak through. So when you go, what I did in my third year was primarily learn things. So in third year, many may not have the exposure to lead teams or work with a lot of people. So you can step out and participate in more clubs. not just in terms of addition to some resume or writing down that I was being here or adding on LinkedIn. It is more than that. The exposure you get. So the main part, still I will call myself as the coordinator for that event, even if someone calls, because what that event gave me out was working of not just of 6 months and handling a lot of people. More than the CV, it gave me something in my real life. I learned a lot. So I had to speak with, I had given TV interviews, I had interviewed actors, Arjun Reddy, Swati Reddy. I have actually done people interviews. So these were all how they were opportunities I got because I was showing myself out. So only when I get stepped out and I was working, I had never done anchoring. I never even stood on a stage till my engineering third year. I'm being very honest. I am so bad at my. I had a very bad stage fright, where I still remember in my 10th standard, I had to participate in a quiz where I had to just pass the mic from on the stage to four teams. I was so nervous. I was running so quick between the groups, and my teacher had to yell at me that stop running so fast and walk, not run. So I was that bad at it. So in my third year, and it was very I was just working, knowing more people. I was somewhere I built in. That's where I didn't know. If someone asked me how you built it, I have no clue. All you have to do is step out, work, create. The interest will automatically coming. If you like something, you will not leave it out. Show enthusiasm, things will work. Many people, even in my engineering, I have seen, they just try to step in, try to extract the profit instantly, get that certificate or get known, or trying to get some fame out of it for a moment. And if it doesn't work, they just quit it and say it doesn't help, it's not useful. But it is actual. Show some enthusiasm, step out. That's the main thing. Only then you will be able to speak yourself, know yourself. So for someone in college, go out and participate in clubs, even if it is not getting you a certificate or you are not able to add. At least you'll network with people. Now right after my 3 years, now I quit my college. It's been 3 years since I graduated, and even this year's coordinator called me, and I actually gave speak for hours and hours with those coordinators, wherein I was a first, they were first year when I was final year, where you'll have many minimal interaction. So I networked with people. I'm very glad I know a lot of people, so that actually helps. When you network, you understand mindsets, you develop, you diversify your thought as well. So that was one element we were discussing at one point, that uh, not many have the diverse exposure.
Yes,
So
yes, exposure, and then we don't introspect well enough about, do I really want this thing, or do I want this thing because my friends are doing MBA, or my seniors have done an MBA, or they have gone for MS and all those things. And I think Vijay, you very well pointed out about you. I mean, you did things because you don't know how you did them, but you had to do them, and you did it because you're the coordinator, and then you felt that you have to do this for your college. So I think the underlying message over here is we sometimes have to get out of our own way, because we can actually do more things when we put our shame aside, when we feel that maybe I'll not be able to do this. When you do it for a reason which is not really about you, when it is not just about your certification, when it is just not about a CV point, that's when the actual learning happens. Right now, there are a lot of certifications that are coming up. Everyone is having a CV point, but then it might help you on your CV to some extent. That's really good. You might learn to some extent. But then the actual D-Day of your personal interview, or when you're giving a job interview, you'll not be able to fake it, because it has to come from inside and without enough learnings. Because only when you immerse yourself properly, you'll face the difficulties, you'll face the challenges, and out of the challenges, you'll find solutions, and that those will become the answers which will actually make the difference in your interview. So that's what Vijay was saying. I mean, that's what Vijay
one
did
element
through.
I would like to add,
Yeah,
just
please, Vijay.
the
Yeah, yeah,
last
Vijay.
point. It is like a lot of people, when I was going through my VAT PI preparation, the answers are complete. There's one thing I shelled out. That was one point which was helpful for me. Uh, Everyone almost has a similar answer to why you are doing an MBA. It's very unique answer. No one has it. To be very honest, when you try to put them, remove the specific details, everything falls into a simple nutshell that somewhere I had an interest in my engineering or commerce or some point, and I picked it out and I just put it out here. So the interviewers who are doing it, this isn't their first time interviewing. So they have heard these answers from hundreds of students over the last 10 years. So it's like multiplied in thousands now. So they know all this, but they understand the intent only when you actually mean it. So that comes out only when you experience it. So there you will be able to express freely and it comes out naturally to you instead of a rehearsed answer where point one, point two, point three, I will blurt it out. So when the natural rhythm comes out, probably the people will understand that it actually happened to him and that it actually struck a chord for him. So that is really important. So having experience will actually help for it.
True, true. And I think Vijay, you were also speaking about how you had to talk to a lot of people and how you were an introvert at the beginning of your uh, undergrad, but then by the end of your undergraduation, you were kind of an extrovert, thanks to your, test which you were the coordinator of. And especially people, if you're going into an MBA, obviously you will have to work with people. So you just get out of this. You might have different styles. Some might be good at one-on-one communicating. Some might be good at interacting with a group. So just find out your own style. Try to make sure you're able to interact with people, understand them at a deeper level, because everyone has that. Deep. When you understand them at a deeper level, you'll be able to communicate with them better. You'll be able to bring the best out of them better, and that's how the other person is going to remember you when you touch their deeper levels. So that's what Vijay was doing even during his undergrad days, and obviously that would help him in the long run and even during his MBA. So Vijay, any other points that you want to add? Any other suggestions to the CAT 2020 aspirants and further days ahead that lie in front of them?
Yes, primary goal for all aspirants is treat CAT as an aptitude. Please remember it is an aptitude exam and not any science exam or maths exam. It's not. It is actually true. It is tough, but it is all in the mind. To be very honest, just focus on giving your best. That is key for all the aspirants, irrespective you're a fresher and all. Secondly, if someone is very thoughtful about their chances of any particular B school or what is their chances of getting into somewhere. So please don't waste so much time on it. I've seen many individual waste hours scrolling through all the social medias. So instead, pick someone like me on LinkedIn or Facebook. Someone drop a text to someone who is entering into MBA or already done an MBA. Speak to them and understand chances and just prepare. So keep it simple. Don't put a lot of things together. So these are three things I will obviously say to all. If you are a fresher, there is equally good chance for you to get into it. Work experience helps, doesn't mean it is mandatory. So you can still be a manager even without an classic corporate experience. So know your things, try to be more vocal, learn more about yourself. If you're an work experience person who is having couple of years of experience and you got time, probably you'll have another year before you join into a B school. So try to participate in few clubs, like we have Toastmasters club, which is actually very good. So learn, that's where you will see a lot of people. So try to find some forums instead of just doing your job. Try to go a little outside. So these are two things I want to say for freshers and work experience people. So on a whole, this is my whole agenda. If I want to say, keep it simple. Don't junk too much of things for you. Don't pile things for you. That doesn't help. And aptitude at the end of every day. It's just CAT, only aptitude. Work on yourself. It will automatically help for yourself. So that is main point from me. So this is something I've been trying to tell to every aspirant who has approached me till date. So please try to keep it simple. Don't take too much onto it. So it will not work well.
I think very well put out, Vijay. You told it very simply. That's what, at the end of the day, keep it simple. Make sure you're preparing. Don't worry about the things which are not in your hands, like criteria keep changing. The only things that are in your hand is the CAT that you are going to give. And then how do you maximize your time learning new things, understanding your weaknesses, strengths? Because at a future stage, anyway, they'll be helpful even if you're sitting for campus interviews, or even just for the sake of understanding yourself. What do you really want? So introspect every now and then, try to understand whether you're going on the right path, and keep it simple. Don't follow too many things, because uh, we are not designed to actually handle too many things. It just creates ambiguity and confusion. Just keep it simple. Make sure you're doing things. Have few specific mentors, like Vijay was pointing out. Try to find 2 or 3 good mentors, and then even what they are saying, try to think through it properly, because not everything might be applicable. Even our own discussion, what we had right now for the last 35-40 minutes, think through it. What is applicable to me? What should I take from this, and how can I apply it? So think from those lines. Whatever anyone is advising you or whatever anyone is telling you, just make sure you're applying to your own case. So that's what the main point that we are trying to make. And thanks, Vijay. Thanks for taking this time out. It was wonderful discussing all these things with you. Definitely, these things would be helpful to the candidates who are out there trying to understand, figure out things for going to give CAT 2020, and then maybe giving the VAT and PS later. Thanks a lot, Vijay. And you really emphasized many points, like how you should maximize your undergrad days, your work experience, and how to keep it simple and yet get the things done. Thanks a lot, Vijay.
Sure. Thanks so much.